both of these baits will absolutely catch a fish that is on a bed, whether you see it or not. You know, and that's a lot of times I think people don't realize just how many fish they catch off of the bed when they're fishing a frog or they're fishing a swim jig. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and we are here for the Pick 2 More again this month in April. And I was really tore what to wear for this month for this video, because I walked over there to get a different sweatshirt, and I really wanted to put on a camo one to get ready for turkey hunting. To get ready, I mean, it's April, that's what we're going to talk about. It's actually not what we're going to talk about today, but I really like this month anymore because of my obsession with turkey hunting, and Jenny doesn't like this month at all. So anyway, we'll move along from that and get into picking a couple more baits to go along with the 4 from last year. Last year we had a buzz bait, we had a spinner bait, we had a Bass Pro Bullhog, a creature style bait, and then we had a wacky worm. All excellent, definitely excellent techniques, or excellent baits for this month of April. You know, all of those, as well as these couple of baits here, you know, when I think of April, I'm thinking of water levels rising. I'm thinking of fish, you know, maybe spawning, maybe not quite spawning. Some places maybe there's a few fish already done spawning. And so I'm thinking of fish in cover a lot of times, you know, fish in places that can sometimes be hard to get to, where they're trying to get into that very warmest water or newly flooded vegetation or any combination, you know, of those things. So with that kind of in mind, that really helped me steer on the couple of baits for this month's Pick 2 More. You know, as far as stuff that I really like to use this time of year, stuff I find myself using in a lot of different situations and being, you know, being effective with. So one is a extremely weedless bait, obviously, and something that you can fish, you know, in cover. You can certainly fish it in open water, but is very, very effective around this time of the year, and that's a frog. A hollow-bellied frog can be so very effective in the month of April. I think a lot of people miss out on that early frog bite because they're thinking, you know, that they need that water up in the 65, 70, 75 degree range before they really start throwing a frog much. But man, I'm telling you, when those fish are in the right mood and they are shallow, and in cover especially, there is not much better way to catch them than on a hollow-bellied frog. I've caught some myself down, you know, in the 55, 57 degree range is kind of when I find myself, you know, really starting to think about it a lot. But I know people have caught them really well in water cooler than that. But that 55, 57, I'm certainly going to think about it. But you get to cracking 60, and I'm absolutely going to have a frog tied on, you know, if the rest of the situation calls for it. Couple of ones I like the best, that's the Terminator Popping Frog. That's in one of the new colors that we came out with this past year. We added, I think it was 4 new colors in the frogs, and that one is a really good brim imitation. Kind of got a dark back, a little bit of like pumpkin on the sides, and then some light orange on the belly, and then those brown legs on it. Just a really, really good natural bait fish color. But again, that one's the Popping Frog, and I use the Walking Frog Junior the most. These 2 frogs are the 2 that I use the most. The regular walking frog, it has its time and place, but it is a bigger bodied frog, and I just don't find myself using it quite as often as I do the Popping Frog or that Walking Junior. Both of those do really well. And the Walking Junior probably skips just a little bit better than the Popping Frog does, so if you're in a situation where you're really trying to skip it under overhanging bushes and that type of stuff, that Walking Frog Junior probably does that well, or better, because if the mouth gets turned around on that Popping Frog, it's more likely to catch the water a little bit than of course that Walking Frog Junior will. Next up is a swim jig. You know, just your good old standard swim jig is something that I catch a ton of bass on this time of the year. This particular one has been well worn. He's been around and has caught a few. I did put a fresh trailer on it just for this video, but this particular jig has definitely seen some action on the water. And this is one that is very underrated, I think, especially in certain regions of the country. Where I live, people just don't throw a swim jig that much. You go to Florida, everybody in the tournament's going to have a swim jig tied on, or 2 or 3. You know, so it really just depends on where you live and just how much that, you know, that a lot of people use a swim jig. But it is effective all across the country. There's no doubt about it. I've caught fish on it, you know, right here around home in situations where people really wouldn't think to throw one that much, in my opinion. This particular one, that's the Bama Crawl color again. And I just noticed or just realized that both of the Pick 2 More videos from this month as well as last month were all 4 Terminator baits. So that wasn't really by design. It just kind of worked out that way. Emmett's coming to hang out in the video, I guess, here a little bit. This is a Bass Pro Swimming Crawl. Those are coming out pretty soon, so hopefully they'll be out not too long after this video is released. But that is an excellent trailer. Another one that works really well on the back of that from Bass Pro. This one's been bit down, but that is I believe it's called a triple ripple crawl. It's a twin tail, but it's got a lot of the, you know, big legs on the back of it, and that's something I want on a swim jig. Is I want something that really creates a lot of disturbance on the back of it, but it also helps to slow it down. You know, that's what I'm wanting this time of year. I don't want like a really small twin tail grub on the back of it. If I want a twin tail grub, I want some big beefy legs or something like that Swimming Crawl has, where it's got those big beefy legs on the back that create a lot of vibration for one, but also add a lot of lift and allow me to fish this bait slower while still keeping it up in the water column. And thinking of that, that's a 3/8 ounce. That's what I use the majority of the time. I carry 1/2 ounce and I'll use those on occasion, but that 3/8 typically gets the nod on that Terminator swim jig. So those two baits work extremely well, man, when you're getting that newly flooded vegetation, newly flooded cover in the month of April. And that's where a lot of those fish are going to spawn. Both of these baits will absolutely catch a fish that is on a bed, whether you see it or not. You know, and that's a lot of times I think people don't realize just how many fish they catch off of the bed when they're fishing a frog or they're fishing a swim jig. And that's something that you can do very well with both of those. So hope these two baits help you out there on the water, and we will catch you on the next one.